our next guest, Arnau Monterde, who will be talking about Decidim. And apart from presenting the project, which is a really great, successful project that now in the Decidim platform is used by over 300 institutions, organizations, democratic bodies. He will focus his presentation on the governance model of this of Decidim, which is a public and community center model of governance for open source software project. So Arnau, please, our virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and to share with you the experience of Decidim. I'm gonna try to share my presentation. Okay. Okay. Here we have. Can you see me and can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can see you on the slide deck too.
Okay, perfect. Okay, in the following 20-25 minutes, I will try to explain you a general view of Decidim project and Decidim platform. And also, and I think that this is the specific topic of the session, how we can share with you our learnings after 4 or 5 years of the project, trying to improve the model of governance of a free software project like Decidim, promoted by the city of Barcelona and by a public institution, but and shared with a lot of other organizations and institutions around the world, because it has been a key aspect of from the beginning, the question of the democratic governance of the software, and I think that this is a kind of initial and main claim or principle of Decidim, which is that Decidim as a platform, we believe from the beginning that we had to guarantee the democratic quality of the platform, because we were building a platform for democracy, and the only way to do that is doing in a democratic way. It's like some redundant and how we contribute to democratize the democracy, but I think that this is an important and key aspect of the project. Just to give you some general ideas of the context, the general context, and why Decidim is so important today. The first one definitely is the fast growing of the digital technologies in our society. That digital technologies are everywhere and are in every aspect of our daily life, and we cannot we have to assume that the digital society is like maybe the main aspect of our society today. And also we have to take into account how the crisis of coronavirus, that in this moment of pandemic, is affecting also all the digital sphere, because it's so important how the crisis of COVID is modifying our digital practices and also our digital policies. There is also a shared view on around the world, but also in Europe, that I'm pretty sure that almost all the politicians are doing the same question, in which that how we can definitely improve our democracies, in terms that this is not just to vote each every 4 years or 5 years period. We need to improve the ways in which we involve citizens in the making decision process. And definitely in the 21st century, this democracy gonna happen through the digital devices and through the internet, through the digital technologies. And this is why, as a, not also as a belief, but also as a practice, we need that all the democratic digital infrastructures that we use for democracy has to be developed in open source and free software in order to guarantee transparency, to guarantee traceability, integrity, security, and along, etc. And the other key aspect is that we are building software and we are building technology to engage citizens and to engage people, in the sense that if we want to enrich the democracy, definitely we have to promote a process of citizen engagement. And what we find when we start, we find a super rich field of innovation between the protest or between the people claiming for their own claims and demands and campaigns, etc. And also we find a strong consolidated representative democracy, but we are pretty sure that between these two models of democracy, we have a very rich field to where we can build and innovate with new democratic practices. What is Decidim? Just a general view of what is Decidim and how it works. Decidim is a digital platform to promote any kind of participatory process or democratic participatory with citizens addressed not just to public institutions at different levels, also address it to any kind of organization. Is a platform that allows you to organize, because it's very flexible, different process of participation, collect ideas, having debates, have meetings to deliberate, having surveys, having different mechanisms applied to the context of the digital, but also is a free software project with a GPL license, a FERO GPL 3.0, which means that, as you know, everyone can use and reuse the code and copy the code and modify the code, but always they have to use the same license in order to guarantee the continuity of the freedom of the project. And this is so an important aspect for today is Decidim is also a democratic community. Decidim is the platform, Decidim is the code, and Decidim is the community who sustain and who take care every day the quality of what is happening in Decidim. We have to update that, because we are arriving to 700,000 people registered in different instances of Decidim. More than 300 institutions around the world are using the platform, and we have like a lot of amazing and success experiences using the Decidim for democratic process. Just to give you an example, Decidim Barcelona, which is the platform for Decidim, after 4 years, we are arriving almost to 100,000 people registered on Decidim, more than 30,000 proposals, more than 300 physical meetings documented and collected through the platform, and definitely Decidim after 4 years is consolidating as the key aspect of citizen engagement of the city of Barcelona. How it was Decidim? Just to give you some examples, you can create proposals and debates. It works between this idea to integrate and to connect the digital participation with physical participation. You can have meetings and you can have deliberation on the digital, but we try to integrate with two both key aspects on democratic processes, because we want to include everyone in the engagement and participation process. As we said, we have proposals, we have meetings, we have digital meetings accelerated in the moment of pandemia. We have debates, complex ways to have a different deliberation process, and with different interaction systems on that. We are using a lot participatory budgeting. Now in Barcelona, we are running participatory budgeting with huge participation and huge levels of engagement of different communities, schools, neighborhoods, young people claiming for their own needs in the different districts, and we are having an amazing moment on Barcelona. Just tomorrow we start the final process of voting. And also we have participatory councils. You can have petitions in terms that you can collect signatures with electronic signatures in order to achieve a specific goal. And we just are in the final moment to have a secure and encrypted voting system on Decidim, in order to ensure that we also can vote in a secure way using cryptography and open source technology. And this is the last key aspect. Decidim works as any other social network. With you have your own profile and your participant or user, and you can interact as you or as an organization, but in the same way that you do it in other social network platforms. Here are some examples of different installations of Decidim: the city of Helsinki, city of Mexico, the National Assembly on France. Different cities on Japan start to use Decidim, and now this is the most amazing thing that we have had the last month, which is that this moment in Europe, that a lot of people in the different countries of Europe start to deliberate, to think and to share, to have a shared idea of the future of Europe. And I think that this is important too for today. But let's try to focus on the governance aspects. If we have any specific doubts on Decidim and how it works, and maybe we can I can give you some information after, or you can have our contact in order to have more specific information on how it works and how you can use or whatever. But let's to focus on that, on our model governance, because I think that this is an important thing, and maybe we can contribute after our experience. The first principle is this principle: public money, public code, which means that we, as a public institution from the city of Barcelona, and this is embedded to the whole project, is that all the public investment on software, we believe that we have to do it in a open source solutions, and this is a very key aspect in order to guarantee that this is a minimum and initial condition to have democratic software. And thanks to that, and this is a real example of how collaboration is having a real success on that, is that today Decidim is translated to more than 35 languages around the world, and we just translate to Spanish and Catalan and English, but everyone who is using Decidim decide to translate thanks to a platform that we have to specialize it to do that, but different countries are doing. And thanks to be an open source project and to have the infrastructure to collaborate and to contribute to the code, we have this rich ecosystem of production of the code. But also, and this is so important when we start the platform, the project, and when we start to work with communities, the first thing that we created was the community meetings. We start to have in Barcelona community meetings where we invite policymakers, activists, researchers, citizens, organizations, companies who develop hackers, etc. We invite all the people that we believe that could be interested to participate in Decidim project, and we start to work in a collaborative way this idea of social contract. We define our first initial contribution, our first initial constitution, which is a kind of the main and initial aspects that we define as yes, as have a set of rules to ensure that everyone who was using Decidim not only has to share the same license of code, but also has to share this idea of social contract. And the social contract says that the software has to be open to collaboration, and you, as an organization who is using Decidim, you have to guarantee the transparency and the traceability and the integrity of everything that you do on the platform. And you have to accomplish with some democratic guarantee aspects, for example, the inclusiveness, the accessibility, the different aspects related to democratic quality of participation, and also, and this is another key aspect, that the privacy and the security on the process of participation, the privacy on personal data, and the security on all the digital process that are happening on Decidim. And this idea, this was just an initial moment, but the idea of to have a social contract decided and shared with and by the community, it was like an important moment to involve the whole community in the decision making process of the platform. And this initiative helps a lot to us to start to work together with the community. How we organize our governance model. The first idea is that the governance model, as I said before, is community-centered, which means that the community have different levels to participate and to be involved on Decidim. The first one, the first idea of this community-centered model is that we have our own platform, Decidim platform for the community, which means that we are using our own technology for our own governance, and also we are here. This can be like tricky, but it is amazing because using our own platform, we find how we improve the software for democratic governance. And at the end, Decidim is a software for democratic governance, and it works very good to have a democratic organization for our community. On this sense, different people who is you can inscribe and you can participate in the community without to be a member of Decidim, but you can be a member of the community just reporting bugs or creating new proposals to have new improvements on platform, or also participating on the different debates that we have, or also participating in the different community meetings that we have each month, more or less. Okay. The second key aspect of our governance model is what happens with the repositories, because okay, we have a democratic model of governance, but you will say that okay, but you as the city of Barcelona, you are owning the repositories, but this is not like this. We are definitely owning the main repository as a city of Barcelona, but thanks to the license that we are using, we accept a lot of different contributions from different organizations and cities and developers, and the property of the contributions belongs to who has created this contribution. And this is another important key aspect, that the ownership of the code is also shared. Okay, definitely we, as the city of Barcelona, we own the most important part because we invest a lot on Decidim, but thanks to the contributions of community directly to the code, we can start to talk about a shared ownership of the code. And the second important thing attending on the responsibility on who own the repositories, because I think that this is a key aspect. We as a city of Barcelona decide to share this responsibility to others. We didn't want to have the only one, the unique responsibility of managing the code repositories. We wanted to share that. And this is why we create, I will explain deeper later, but we create an agreement between the city of Barcelona, Local Red, which is an organization of different Catalan cities who are promoting technologies on the territory, which was a kind of neutral actor that helps us to give legitimacy to the process, and also with the association Decidim. What is the association Decidim or Decidim Association? Decidim Association is the legal representation of community that after 3 years to work together on Meta Decidim, decide to constitute as a legal organization, as a non-profit organization, and the main purpose of association is to guarantee the democratic quality, the social contract, and the health of the community of the Decidim project. On this end, from the city of Barcelona, we push the creation of this association, but this association is working for their own, and we expect that in a close future, this association definitely could lead the part of the maintenance of the key core aspects and repositories of the platform. The three aspect, and this is also super important in terms of collaboration, is how we create a rich ecosystem of public institutions, companies who develop software and who works with Ruby on Rails, which is the programming language that we use on the Decidim, and also other kind of organizations. We create a rich ecosystem of different actors who are discussing and contributing directly to the project, and they do it through Meta Decidim, the platform of the community, but they are creating by practice this new way to have collaboration between different public institutions with a main and shared purpose, which is to have a better software and a better democratic practices. And the four main aspect, and which is at the end of the one of the principles, and to understand which model we are promoting, is this idea of public community-centered model of governance, which means that we, as a public institution, from the public, we are leading from the beginning this project, but we also have pushed the creation and the engagement and the autonomy of the community in order to have this two actors working together all the time, the public and the communitarian aspect working together in order to have not just a control dynamics, which is good to have like two actors who control the other, because we don't know what happens, for example, if there is a change on the government and who is leading the digital policies, but also we cannot know what is happening in the dynamics of the community. And this model of to have this the community working so close with the public, this is a really amazing and innovative idea for the public sector. And also, this is not exclude the work with other sectors like the companies or the research centers or universities or others, in the sense that the public community governance guarantee the democratic dynamics of the project, but also our model, and I explain better in the following slides, but we are promoting a productive ecosystem of companies who are developing Decidim. We are engaging developers, communities, and system teams that start to learn how they can use Decidim, but also as a business model, in the sense that we are creating a new ways to produce technologies with sovereignty in terms of public governance, but also promoting our local and meso-local economies. Yes, this is an overview of how community works. We have like different spaces where the people is contributing. Here, an amazing thing that is not just the developers or the activists or the people is contributing. We also have a lot of contributions of improvement. For example, which origin is the city. For example, we have a lot of cities who as a city or who as organization are contributing to the deliberation process, and also to the creating new proposals on how we can improve Decidim. This is another important aspect of as I said before, the idea of collaborative development. We lead the development, but we are after 3 or 4 years, we are we have a lot of expertise on having a mediation between different companies, different institutions, and the product team and the interest, and trying to separate the interest, for example, of the city of Barcelona and the interest of the main repository, trying to take the better decisions for the generic, for the general interest of the project, and not to attend just the specific interest. And this is an important key decision of the technical decisions of the platform, which is that we decide to have an architecture that allows to collaborate without to have a fork of the project. What does it mean? This means that we have a modular structure of the software, and this means that if you want to have a specific feature that Decidim doesn't have, you can create your own module, and you can run your own module without to modify the other modules of Decidim. And thanks to that, we have just one central repository, shared repository with different modules, and you can contribute directly to official modules, but also you can create your own modules. This is in the theoretical aspect. It would be similar, like for example, Drupal do with modules, or WordPress do with plugins. But we are our system on Ruby on Rails, based on a technical aspect, call it engines. But this is another key aspect of the success of the project. The architecture, the technical decisions taken on the beginning of the project move to have a collaborative architecture of the software. Because if you don't have a collaborative architecture of the software, and you are putting new layers all the time to the software, then you have a huge amount of non-ordered code that it's very difficult to contribute, to collaborate, and to govern. And this is an important key aspect of the success of the Decidim project. The other model, and this is another key aspect in terms of governance, and probably this is a key aspect to understand why a lot of organizations are using Decidim, is that is decentralized. We have this centralized main repository, but you are running the infrastructure and the data and the application of Decidim in your own servers, and you have the full control of your infrastructure. And this is so important, because allows to us to doesn't have the responsibility to manage your data, because each organization is managing their own data. And in terms of sovereignty, for us, this is an important key aspect: sovereignty on infrastructure, on data. And each institution has to be responsible of their own data, because we believe that the data and the infrastructure have to be close to the citizens, not centralized and in so far away as the big tech companies are doing. And I think that this is a bad model for our democratic models that we are building. And the other key aspect, and this idea, is to have different distributed to having a distributed model of deployment of Decidim, allows us in the future. We are doing that, but allows to improve a lot this way to innovate, which is that we could imagine in a close future different levels of federation of different instances of Decidim, which means that if we are two institutions that we have a common interest, for example, to work in a metropolitan area where we have different cities using Decidim, just federating the system of login, or just federating different aspects of the platform allows us to collaborate in the same technology, in the same platform. And on this sense, this is definitely a huge opportunity for a close future. The idea of to federate different autonomous and sovereign instances of Decidim. Sorry, I'm just at the end of presentation, just three minutes. Here you have an example of how community looks like. We start to have a lot of physical meetings on Barcelona, but the community now is international, and we are having the meetings on the digital, because it's the way that we can meet different people from different parts of the world. And we are having every year a conference in Barcelona, and probably in the future we will move this conference around the world too. But this is an important aspect, because if you want to have a health community, you need to take care of the community, and you have to put a lot of effort taking care of this community, having meetings, giving feedback them, giving answer in the different petitions, having this permanent conversation and around our collaboration process. As I said before, we have a huge ecosystem, more than 300 organizations and institutions, a lot of cities, regional governments, national governments, unions, NGOs, cooperatives, political parties. A lot of organizations start to use the Decidim, and also start to have the need to have a technical partner to install the Decidim and to run the Decidim, but also the need to have partners to organize the participation, because the Decidim is not a magical solution that you install in your city and you wanna have a super perfect democracy and super perfect engagement process. Definitely, you need to put energy and people and communication and a lot of strategy and a lot of resources on to run the citizen engagement. But thanks to that, we are having this ecosystem where a lot of different actors and companies and projects and universities are working together. And also, as I said before, we have this set of different agreements, and this has been the hardest aspect of governance, in terms of which is the most legal architecture of this model, because we are doing innovation on that, and we having like different agreements to ensure that we could have this idea of shared repositories with community, and how we can share the responsibility of management, but also how we could share the ownership of the code with communities. And this is an important key aspect of the question that we are discussing today, because who owns the code, but also how we can create new models to share the ownership of the code with the communities and with citizens, and guaranteeing that the democratic aspects of the governments is definitely a key aspect. And this is why we create the Decidim Association. This is why we create this agreement between the association and City and Barcelona City Council and local red. And also this is why we create a new agreement with Catalan government to guarantee also resources for the Decidim, but not for new developments and new improvements. Resources to take care of the main repositories, because the repositories, as you know, the main repositories, the core aspects needs maintenance, needs to receive and review the contributions of the community, needs to guarantee the democratic process of the decision-making process on the software, and this needs a economical and human effort. And this is why we combine our legal services, that we have to ensure that the shared repositories and to defend and to take care of these shared repositories are the key aspect of the question of governance. Because if we don't recognize that someone has to take care of the main repositories and the core repositories, then just the new contributions that we receive on the project is like, I need this, I need this, I need this, but nobody is taking care of the common technical aspects of the Decidim. And this is why we are putting a lot of effort on do that. And I'm pretty sure that this will be the key aspect of other model of governance of open source solutions promoted by public sector. As I said before, these are the goals of Association Decidim. And just to finish, I would just to finish, because I would like to give 10 minutes for the discussion, but some challenges and also learnings and also limitations that we have found during this process. Improvements or things that definitely we can improve. We have found a lot of limitations and a lot of like borders on how, without our legal services, how we could recognize the public communitarian nature of our repositories. We have a global software receiving contributions from everywhere. We have a community software. We have a public software. How we can give legal recognition to this idea of shared and public and common repository. The first limitation that we should work on as a legal aspect, and I think that from Europe we could definitely receive a lot of help on that. The second question is how we can improve these ideas of legal infrastructures to protect not only projects promoted or leaded by public institutions, also any kind of flaws project from used by the public institutions, and also the third three aspects to how we need to put a lot of effort in to take care in the process of guarantee the democratic quality of the software production, because I think that this is a geo and political strategic aspect of our society and of Europe in terms of digital autonomy, which is that without public digital infrastructures, we cannot have democratic and digital solutions. And the last slide, and I think that this is the best part of our experience is definitely and this is really amazing, because we have found a rich field to explore and to innovate in this idea of public leadership of promoting software. We are seeing how this idea of productive ecosystem with different companies who start and who join us to our strategy of development is like contributing to give work and to give and to improve the local economies of where Decidim is developing. Also, the presence of to have a super great community contributing on the project, because it's really amazing to see how, which means that the project is working, but how we receive every day interest in contribute and to improve and to collaborate and to be part of the project. And definitely my last message will be that definitely it is possible to create software from the public, not just recommend. We can do it in terms of production, in terms of promoting, but also we can help to other free software solutions to be used, to be adapted, to fund other open source solutions for the public sector. But yes, definitely we can lead the creation of public software from the public institution with the communities. Thank you very much, and this is my presentation.
Arnau, thank you very much. Actually, Decidim proved that what you just said in your last couple of sentences is possible. It's a great and proof and a great success. So I just wanted to tell you that you have another meeting at 12 and it's only 8 minutes left. So I will start with the first question, and we need to be short. My question is, in Barcelona City Council, in your department, how many people are working with you? Because we already know that you have at least 2 roles. You are coordinator for Meta Decidim and you are leading the directorate. So how many people are cooperating with you in your administration? Because the scale of the whole endeavor is huge. So how it looks like?
Yes, it's a good question. We are like a small unit, but with a lot of ideas and with no free time. But no, after 4 years, we create a kind of network of different departments collaborating together. We work with together with the Institute of Technology of the city of Barcelona, but also we work so close with the participation area of the city of Barcelona, and we work also with the different companies which are the main providers of we have, for example, a public procurement for the hosting and maintenance of the service and the code, but also we have another public procurement to have specific developments. We have like different public procurements and different developers teams, and then we have we have a kind of a kind of core team, and then we work like with 5 or 6 different areas of the city council.
Okay, thanks. I have a lot of other questions, but I will let our participants to ask questions. So starting with those that are already in the chat, Federico.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Monica. We have one question from Wojciech, and he's asking if you have ever encountered the practice of stealing code and locking it down for business purposes or something similar.
Stealing code. Yeah, it's all the time when we define our license. Definitely, we can fork our code, and we can use the code for other purpose, but definitely the code are protected for our license, in the sense that you have to keep the same license, and you have to say who is the creator of this software. This means that you have to recognize the initial authorship of the code, and this is an important aspect. But the second aspect is who who gonna move this word to try to replace the code and to improve to another way. I give you an example. We invest almost 1.5 million during the last years, and we are investing in the next 3 years more than 1 million of euros. Who can internalize the maintenance of this with a very consolidated ecosystem and idea? It's very difficult, but definitely the license allows you to copy and to modify, but definitely it shouldn't be a problem to us, because if they are creating new other contributions to the software, we should and we could also take these improvements to the main repositories. And I think that the key aspect who guarantee the quality of the code is Decidim, is the original code. no one can have. It's a question of trustness and a question of legitimacy, and I think that we have that trustness and legitimacy because we are doing everything in a transparent way, and we yes, we can be pretty sure that we are like the main partner that an organization can have. But we are not worried if someone wants to fork and to adapt. Actually, a lot of people is doing, and this is not a problem. But if you don't keep the license, then we are gonna go for you in terms of because we are protected as for our license and for our legislation.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. We have a couple of more questions. The following one is from Ivo, and he's asking, in your view, what should the public commons like legal recognition of shared repositories look like? And what are the main concerns such a recognition will help alleviate that AGPL cannot?
Yes, the limitations of the GPL is not a technical aspect. It's more like the procurement aspect, because with the GPL we are guaranteeing that the code is open and you have to share. You cannot privatize the code. This is an important aspect. But we also want to add like democratic guarantees in terms of open collaboration when you are doing the software. In this sense, this is how you put this political infrastructure in the decision-making process on the software. And this is where we are trying to innovate. We have like the previous experience of a lot of open source communities that have a lot of experience dealing with these kind of aspects in how they have to prioritize different aspects. But definitely it's a way to recognize that there is democratic dynamics that we can also include on the development of technologies. When we are in front of the main tech giants, and we cannot see how they create the code, how they modify the code, which are their security protocols, and how they are taking the decisions. This is not, we believe that this is a huge problem for our democracies, because we actually doesn't know what is happening inside, and we want to see the code, but also we want to see how the decision making process is running on this kind of projects.
And I think there is one last question. We'll just ask to be brief because we are running out of time. The last question is in relation on what the private sector can do to support open source communities.
Sorry, I was reading. Which one is the question?
So the question is just, what can the private sector do in order to amplify the work, or what's the best? How do you see private and public sector collaboration? I think to keep it just as impartial as possible.
Yes, I think that this is one of our. I think that this is one of the, we create Decidim with the private sector, in the sense that with different actors and different like small or medium companies with young people and super skilled people who start to develop, and they help us to think this distributed architecture and having like so innovative solutions in terms of technology. And I think that there are like two ways. One is to be a service provider on Decidim, because anyone definitely can learn how to install and how run Decidim with a minimum technical services. Any IT company can do that, can internalize this kind of service, but also you can have a specialization on developing the Decidim, understand that the main core aspects of Decidim and how you can have like a quality contribution, because Ruby on Rails and how Decidim is done is a bit complex, but when you have the knowledge and the skills, then it's a kind of kind of asset that you can use as a value for your company, providing services. We create this ecosystem also to share with companies the possibility to improve the project and to be part of.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Arnau. I think we are already over time, so maybe we can wrap up the session and maybe just spend a few seconds to inform everyone of the next steps when it comes to OSOR.
So, Federico, if you could allow me, because I remember that Arnau has to leave. He's got another meeting that he needs to join. So I would like to thank you very much, both our speakers, Arnau and Cristina, and for sharing with us so many insights. Of course, two presentations were we're talking about totally different situations. Communities are different, public organizations are different. The scale of both situations is totally different, where Cristina is in a way taking small steps and trying to support Romanian public administrations and convince them to use more open source. Then Arnau, it's in a very well established project, internationally recognized and growing, and I hope that you will be able to manage this grow in a successful way as you has been doing it so far. So once again, thank you very much to both speakers.
Thank you very much. I give my email if anyone has another specific question I can solve by email.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So we have still some information about our next events. Federico, if you could please continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Monica. So just to inform you about the next events organized by OSOR, on which OSOR will be participating in. So on the 23rd of June, we will be giving a presentation within the OW2 Conference 2021, and it will be focusing on the guidelines for sustainable open source community within the public sector. And in this regard, on our website, we'll drop the link in a second in the chat. There is also a feedback mechanism that is open to everyone if you want to provide any feedback on the guidelines, because later on during this summer, we'll be publishing an updated version of the guidelines. So if you have any inputs, any feedback that you want to share with us, please do not hesitate to share with us. Then the next event will be on the 29th of June. It will be the third and last event of this webinar series, and it will be focusing on the public administration adaptation to open source development culture. We'll be publishing more information on the website, and so don't hesitate to have a look to the OSOR platform. In any case, you will also receive an invitation in the upcoming weeks. Finally, I just want to let you know that during this summer, we'll keep publishing the country reports on open source policies and initiatives throughout Europe, but also beyond Europe. And so keep an eye. So we'll keep publishing additional 14 reports. And one last piece of information: in the upcoming months, there will be another publication on the OSOR Knowledge Center, and it will be the report on the role of open source during the COVID-19. We conducted some case studies and interviews with different organizations throughout Europe, and we'll be soon finalizing the report and publish it on OSOR. So to avoid missing out on any of this information, we'll see on the screen our points of contact. So you can reach out to us through email. If I can ask Vivi to move on the next slide. Thanks a lot. You can reach out at ec.europa.eu, or you can pick one of the other channels in which you can contact us, and then we'll be more than happy to chat with you.